Welcome to the podcast. We're diving right into cybersecurity insurance, protecting our businesses in this increasingly digital world.
Right. For sure, it's crazy how cyber threats are evolving, isn't it? The statistics are intense.
Absolutely. 45% of organizations see ransomware as their top risk. And 72% report that cyber threats have really surged in the past year.
Yeah, that's wild. And let's not forget the largest IT outage in 2024 caused $5 billion in losses, while over $1 trillion was stolen globally by cyber criminals.
Exactly. There's just so much at stake. It's like a digital battlefield out there. Cyber criminals are using AI-powered phishing, deepfakes, even ransomware as a service to ramp up their game.
Definitely. It almost makes you wonder, how do businesses really stand a chance? Where does cybersecurity insurance fit into all of this?
Well, cybersecurity insurance essentially is a safety net. It helps cover expenses like legal fees, data restoration, even the costs from business downtime after an attack.
Right, got it. I was reading that it even covers things like customer notifications and credit monitoring in some cases.
Correct. And policies often have two layers: first-party coverage for direct losses and business interruptions, and third-party coverage for things like legal defense and regulatory fines.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it's interesting to note that some things aren't covered, like acts of war or nation-state attacks, and even pre-existing vulnerabilities.
Right, and that's where businesses need to really read the fine print. It's a bit like hiring a top chef, but then not knowing which ingredients they can actually use.
I do wonder, though, don't you think some insurers might overestimate the protection, especially when only 35% of small businesses feel adequately covered?
I can see that point. However, we have to keep in mind that large organizations, about 71%, seem to trust their coverage. But still, there's a clear need to educate small businesses more on their risks and on how to choose the right policy.
So, essentially, businesses should first assess their risks thoroughly, including potential vulnerabilities, and ensure that policy limits are robust enough to match their exposure.
Exactly. And remember that some policies come bundled with proactive tools, things like vulnerability assessments and employee security training.
Yeah, that proactive aspect is a huge plus. Speaking of training, remote work seems to introduce even more risks with distributed network vulnerabilities. How are policies adapting to that?
Great question. Many insurers now include provisions for remote workforces, covering home network vulnerabilities, BYOD risks, and even offering specific training modules.
Right, exactly. It's fascinating how they're leveraging technology here too, like using AI for underwriting and blockchain for processing claims.
Yep, it's like turning cyber risk management it's like a high-tech game of chess. You're always one move ahead, spying on what the attackers might do.
That's a neat analogy. But don't you think that relying too much on these tech solutions could be risky? Sometimes human oversight is crucial.
I see your point, but it's more about balance. The integration of technology enhances the process, but companies still need to invest in strong security practices and continuous employee training.
Yeah, that's fair. And when it comes to costs, cyber insurance premiums can vary widely, right? Small businesses might pay around $1,000 to $3,000, while larger companies are paying much more.
Yep, especially with premium increases due to escalating ransomware claims. Businesses with robust security can even see a reduction in costs, sometimes up to 20%.
That's smart planning. Ultimately, despite the costs, having cybersecurity insurance seems like a must-have safeguard against potentially crippling digital threats.
Absolutely, and as cyber attackers evolve, so must our defenses. Cyber insurance combined with proactive measures like penetration testing, simulated phishing, and regular training forms the backbone of a resilient digital strategy.
Right, indeed. It's a reminder for businesses to not only ensure but also continuously improve their security posture.
Exactly. It's about staying ahead of the curve in this digital age, and honestly, it's a fascinating blend of finance, tech, and risk management, all rolled into one.
Really fascinating. Thanks for that deep dive. This really sheds light on why cybersecurity insurance is not just an option, but a necessity in today's business landscape.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, and remember, staying informed is staying protected.